Appendix 9 of Abdullah Yusuf Ali's translation of the Holy Quran is Comparative Chronology of the Early Years of Islam. The dates after the Hijrah, when given according to the Arabic calendar, can usually be calculated exactly according to other calendars, but it is not possible to synchronize exactly the earliest dates of the Arabian calendar with the dates of the Christian calendar, and for two reasons. In the first place, there seems to have been some discrepancy between the calendars in Medina and in Mecca. In the second place, the Arabian calendar was roughly lunisolar before the years of the farewell pilgrimage. Though Al-Hijrah 10 Al-Hijrah, so March 632 of the Common Era. The Arabs were in the habit of counting months by the appearance of the moon, but irregularly intercalating a month once in about 3 years to bring the calendar up into conformity with the seasons. They did not do it on any astronomical calculations or in any system, but just as it suited their own selfish purposes, thus often upsetting the old established conventions about the months of peace and security from war, and thus getting an unfair advantage for the clique in power in Mecca over their enemies. See Surah 9, Ayat 36. Unless exact mathematical calculations are applied and reduced to a well-established system, there's apt to be confusion, and this can well be taken advantage of by arbitrary cliques in power. After the Prophet's adoption of the purely lunar calendar for ecclesiastical purposes, there is no confusion. Every date after Al-Hijrah 10 is exactly convertible into a corresponding date in any other accurate calendar. Westenfeld's and others comparative tablets of Muslim and Christian dates may therefore be relied upon for dates after Al-Hijrah 10, but much caution is necessary in synchronization for earlier dates. Now, the Prophet Muhammad said that now the sacred and the secular calendar, basically, I don't know how to word it, were in line with each other. So what they were saying was Safar and Dhul-Hijjah and Ramadan and stuff like this, they were, heaven and earth were agreed with each other, basically. So after that, they didn't change it. Maulana Shibli, in his Sirat al-Nabi, Volume 1, page 124, edition of 1336, Al-Hijrah 1918 to the Common Era, adopts for the Prophet's birthday the date the 20th of April, 571 of the Common Era. Following Mahmud Pasha, they go on the basis of an astronomical event, the total eclipse of the sun that was visible in Medina on the day that the Prophet's son Ibrahim was taken to the mercy of Allah. But there's no agreement among the authorities as to the exact date either by the Christian or the Arabic calendar. Shibli, following Mahmud Pasha, takes the date of the eclipse to be the 7th of November, 632 of the Common Era. Muir Life, edited 1923, page 429, assumes some date in June or July 631 of the Common Era. Al-Katani, Chronographica Islamica, Al-Hijrah 10, gives the date of the eclipse as the 4th or 5th of July 631 of the Common Era, which he synchronizes with the 28th or 29th of Rabi al-Awwal, Al-Hijrah 10, but he quotes authorities for the death of Ibrahim as on the 16th of June 631 of the Common Era, synchronizing it with the 10th of Rabi al-Awwal, Al-Hijrah 10. There's something wrong here, as the death and the eclipse occurred on the same day. Al-Waqidi gives the month as Rabi al-Awwal, Al-Hijrah 10, and gives Ibrahim a life of 15 months. But if Abu Dawood and Al-Bayhaqi are correct, Ibrahim lived only 2 months and 10 days. And as the date of his birth is given in Dhul-Hijjah al-Hijra, year 8. The date of his death, according to these authorities, would be in Rabi al-Awwal, al-Hijra, year 9. On a review of all the authorities, I feel inclined to accept the date of the eclipse and the death of Ibrahim as the 28th or 29th of Rabi al-Awwal, al-Hijra 10. So the 4th or 5th of July, 631 of the Common Era. But this cannot be asserted with certainty. The French work of reference, L'Art de vérifier les dates, Paris, 1818, the Common Era, Volume 1, page 310, gives the date of the solar eclipse as the 3rd of August, 631, 2:30 p.m., and according to the system adopted in that book, the corresponding Hijra date would be the 28th of Rabi al-Akhir, al-Hijra, year 2. Even if this particular date was certain and exact, a certain amount of uncertainty remains in counting dates backwards. Most authorities assume a purely lunar year of 354 days for working backwards. Probably the Muslimin and Medina counted in this way even before the lunar year was fixed exactly in al-Hijra 10. But the mass of the Arabs in Mecca and elsewhere probably were all the time intercalculating a month roughly once in 3 years, kind of like the Jews, but without the schedule. As has been stated before, until their power was utterly destroyed by the conquest of Mecca, and therefore precise exactitude and pre-conquest date are in the counting of people's ages and years before 8 to 10 al-Hijra is unattainable. See a note on the subject. Margot Uth's Life of the Prophet, page 19 of the 3rd edition, and in Muir's Life, page 10 of the 1923 edition. The date of the actual Hijra given in Katani may be accepted as September, October of 1622 of Common Era, being in the month of Rabi al-Awwal, and the 9th of that month would be accepted as the date of departure from the cave of Thawr. The best synchronized date would be the 22nd of December, 622 of the Common Era. But as the first month of the Arab year was and is Muharram, the Hijra year 1 is counted as the beginning on the 15th or 16th of July in 622 of the Common Era. So the first Muharram, al-Hijra 1. The formal adoption of the Hijra era is official documents date from the Khalifa of Umar from the year of 17 to 18 al-Hijra, according to al-Tabari. Sir Wasseli Haig's Comparative Tables of Mohammedan and Christian Dates, London, Luzak, 1932, gives, in a handy form, 3 comparative tables which enable the synchronization of Hijra years from 1 to 1421. The main table for these years was printed earlier at the end of S. Haim's New English Persian Dictionary, Tehran, 1931, of the Common Era. The exact title of Wustenfeld's German tables is Wustenfeld-Mahler Vergleichungstabellen, Leipzig, 1926, of the Common Era, 2nd edition. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.